Mr. Chavez, thank you for your generosity of letting Mr. Dababne go first. Sorry it put you back a little bit. You have two bills, one on suspense and one on consent. What's your pleasure, Mr. Chavez?
I'll just take the one that's on suspense.
The floor is yours.
I believe that's AB 13, correct?
Correct.
Okay. AB 13 is probably the most watched bill in the state of California for the 2 million veterans in the state of California. AB 13 last year passed, but there was a technicality that the community colleges identified. The technicality is the Choice Act. I'll read you the purpose that comes to your analysis. The bill makes a conforming amendment adding those covered under the Choice Act to an existing statute provided for in-state community college student fees to other specified categories of students. Since these Choice Act students will no longer pay the higher non-resident fees that cover their cost of education, AB 13 also authorizes community college districts to claim these students for state appropriation funding. If we do not pass this bill, veterans who are attending community colleges will not be able to use their GI Bill. Last year, we had over 70,000 veterans attending community college. Last year in community colleges, $16.7 million were in payments to post 9/11 GI Bill. This bill does not displace a single California resident. This bill is supported by AFSCME, Pete Conity and Associates, 6 veterans organizations throughout the state, the California Catholic Conference, and several community college districts throughout the state. It is critical that this bill not be on suspense but go forward. Otherwise, by July, there are thousands of veterans who have served our country will not be able to attend community colleges with the GI Bill. Here for me in testimony is Pete Conity and veterans in the community colleges.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members. I can't stress enough what Assemblyman Rocky Chavez just said. California has more veterans than any other state using our community college system. Many of them are minority students, women, and they are often the first in their family to go to college. This is also, besides the tragedy that would occur by not moving this bill forward in a timely fashion, it would severely disrupt all the current students, veteran students, going to our community colleges, our CSUs, and our UCs, that the federal government has made it clear that if we don't pass this legislation in a timely fashion, that those students will lose their GI Bill benefits, which is more than just their tuition. It is also a housing allowance that allows them to be able to go to school and not have to work by paying their housing and other costs. So we would respectfully request that you not send it to suspense and move it forward as expeditiously as possible. I represent over 20 veterans groups. Collectively, they are 1 million of the 2 million veterans in the state of California, and they are in total unanimous support of this bill. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, committee members. Morning, Mr. Chair, committee members. My name is Raul Arambula, and I come from the California Community College Chancellor's Office, and we are in support of this bill. We believe that if this bill isn't passed, we're going to be out of compliance with federal law, and our veterans would not be able to use their GI Bill, which would result in $16 million funding that we would lose. So we definitely would hope that you would support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members. Mark McDonald, McCallum Group, on behalf of the Los Angeles, San Diego, Peralta, Los Rios, South Orange County, Kern, and Yosemite community college districts, all in support. And in the interest of brevity, we would align our comments with those of the two other witnesses. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any individuals from the public in support of the bill?
Angelo Williams, California Student Aid Commission, in support.
See no other individuals in support. Any witnesses in opposition? Any individuals from the public in opposition? No. Mr. Chavez, I believe this is a good bill. It is a candidate for suspense at the time. The other bill that's on consent, I think, gets us most of the way there, but we are going to take a hard look at this bill regarding the state portion of the funds. For me, I was a community college student, and it was a former Marine who actually told me, what are you doing in biochem? You should go into politics. So I love veterans. They've been a great service to the country, but a great service to me. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for a hearing. I'll look out for that Marine and take care of him later. I just want to highlight the fact this does have it's a time-sensitive issue. So, thank you.
Mr. Wagner.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Because of the time sensitivity, I do want to at least inquire. You said the other bill, AB 27, I think it is, solves the problem. Let me ask for a response. Does it? If not, why not? And then maybe we'll talk about what we do with this bill if in fact it doesn't.
Thank you very much, Senator Wagner. I'm going to allow the community college to actually answer that because they're the ones, as you recall, last year we passed AB 13, which we believed met all the needs. And over the summer, it was highlighted by the community colleges. This did not meet their need. The lawyers thought that they would be in violation of the Choice Act. Would you like to?
If you don't mind, from the local level, we have varying interpretations on the two bills. And what it comes down to is for community colleges, generally speaking, in order to change our fee policies, it needs to be specifically articulated in statute. This bill makes it absolutely clean and clear that community college districts can waive that fee and collect apportionment on those students.
Might I inquire, given that circumstance, and I certainly appreciate the committee's policy on bills that go to suspense and why, and that's prudent that we have the opportunity to take a look at the budget in a whole and the whole universe of bills. That said, the analysis here suggests that we're going to be out of compliance with the feds, that any cost to the state would be offset by losses of federal, or would be made up by federal funds. So I guess I would like to ask the committee or through the chair, might there be a reason under these circumstances for us to make an exception to our suspense policy, move this forward so that the veterans get the benefits and we stay in compliance with the federal law? I guess what I'm saying is, despite the policy on suspense, that I would move the bill if the chair were to say, that might be procedurally appropriate under these circumstances. I leave it to you.
No, it's not appropriate. The bill is going on suspense. The AB 27 fulfills the federal requirements. AB 13 will be taken up in May. I appreciate your time, Mr. Chavez, and I appreciate all the folks in support of the bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Dodd, you're up. Mr. Dodd, please stand up to the podium. And this has a AB 296 has a due pass recommendation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and members. Assembly Bill 296 would extend the sunset date to continue existing authority for local governments to recover costs associated with the administration of annual device registration program through 2019 while freezing the fee caps at their current levels.
Move the bill.
Second.
The bill has been properly moved and seconded. Mr. Dodd, please continue.
Yes. Without the authority to collect these fees, inspections would be significantly curtailed, compromising consumer protection. This is not a new fee, and there's no opposition. I respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Any witnesses in support?
Mr. Chair and members, Matt Seiberling on behalf of the California Agricultural Commissioners and Sealers Association, who are sponsoring the bill. It's about fairness, equity, and a level playing field. I respectfully request your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Don't see any other witnesses in support. Any individuals from the public in support? Seeing none. Any witnesses in opposition? Seeing none. Any individuals from the public in opposition? Seeing none. Department of Finance.
No files.
Great. Questions or comments from the committee? Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a question. This is a bill that's been seen time and time again. It's got a sunset clause on it. These are bills sometimes that, quite honestly, it's a redundancy of action, taking up our time. When are we going to do away with the sunset?
Mr. Bigelow, if I may, Matt Seiberling on behalf of the California Agricultural Commissioners and Sealers Association. We put the sunset into the bill sort of as an agreement with the industries that we regulate. They'd actually like to see this come back every 3 to 5 years to make sure the fees are appropriate, that the program's working, and they'd like to continue to support my folks going in to regulate them and making sure their scales, pumps, and meters are accurate. So it's a mutual agreement, sir.
I appreciate that response. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, Mr. Dodd, would you like to close?
Just respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Dodd. Your bill is out on a roll call with Chang not voting.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Irwin, you're up. No, we're good. No surprise. Yeah. Okay. Ms. Irwin, you have one bill, AB 171, on suspense. Please present your bill.
Good morning, Chair Gomez. AB 171 would continuously appropriate $5.6 million to counties through a performance-based formula to fund the activities of County Veteran Service Officers, or CVSOs, who help connect California veterans to the federal benefits that they have earned. Over the past 2 years, CVSOs have received $5.6 million in funding from the state budget, and that has generated $546 million in new or increased funding for California veterans. That, for those of you that can't do the calculation that quickly, it is a return of $98 for every $1 invested by the state. This money not only benefits California veterans, it benefits the California economy as a whole. AB 171 will provide a steady stream of funding, which is critical because it will provide the retention of CVSO staff who have developed the expertise and relationships that help leverage federal dollars. I have Pete Conity with me from the California Association of County Veteran Service Officers to describe the impact that this funding will have.
Mr. Chairman, members, thank you very, very much. Under the able leadership of the Assembly, especially Assemblyman Tom Daly and the Speaker, John Perez, and Tony Atkins, we have been successful in receiving increased funding for our county veteran service officers. And as the author mentioned, and many of you, by the way, are co-authors on this legislation. And we are in the midst of gathering information so you can have the most updated fiscal analysis when the suspense file comes up. But The results are astounding on increased hiring, increased ID cards, local ID cards. We've issued 21,000 local ID cards. And with the implementation of AB 935 by Mr. Frazier last year, which you all voted for, in November, veterans will have the option of getting the word veteran on their driver's license, and to do that they have to go to a county veteran service officer. The increased traffic to veteran service offices based on the local ID cards, of the 21,000 they've issued, at least 20% of those are veterans that end up filing a claim. These claims can range from anywhere through $50,000, $5,000 up to, and many of them are backlog claims from World War II. Just yesterday, a CVSO told me that he had a 96-year-old World War II veteran whose claim had fallen through the cracks. If you can believe that, and you should believe it because they lost 13,000 claims at the Oakland VA office, lost, going back to 1991. So between the funding for CVSOs and the CDVA strike teams, we can make a real difference in the lives of California's veterans. We have more veterans than any other state, yet we do not receive, but Texas, because they have more people helping veterans file claims, brings in more money to their state. So I think we need to start looking at this as an income-producing program instead of something that costs the state money, because as the author mentioned, we bring money and change people's lives, our veterans, into the state of California. Thank you.
Nicole Wortelman on behalf of the Ventura County Board of Supervisors. In 2013 in Ventura County, almost 4,000 veterans were served by CVSOs, bringing in about $9 million in federal benefits to those veterans. We strongly support AB 171.
Thank you. The rest of the witnesses, just your name, organization, and your position. Thank you.
Cindy Hillary on behalf of the 34 rural counties in California in support.
Sylvia Solis Shaw on behalf of the Board of Supervisors for the counties of Napa, Madera, Solano, Fresno, and Kern in strong support.
Mr. Chair, Steve Kellemer on behalf of the Board of Supervisors of Los Angeles County in support of this bill.
Thank you so much. Any individuals from the public in support of the bill? Seeing none. Any witnesses on opposition? Seeing none. Any individuals from the public in support of the bill or in opposition to the bill? Seeing none. Department of Finance.
No position.
Questions or comments from the committee? Mr. Bonta.
Thank you for your leadership on this, Assemblymember Irwin. I really appreciate what you're doing here in support of veterans, and just want to respectfully ask that I be added as a co-author at the next appropriate time, and I will be supporting your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Bonta.
Mr. Daly.
Mr. Chair, I'm a co-author of this bill. I serve on the Veterans Committee with Chair Irwin. This is some of the best money we will ever spend. For every dollar we put into these county veteran service offices, a vast amount of money comes in from the federal government to the veterans who deserve the benefits. So I think it's very, very worthy, and I salute the chair for bringing this to us.
Mr. Garcia.
Mr. Chair, just wanted to make a comment and thank the member for bringing this bill forward on behalf of Imperial and Riverside Counties Veteran Services representatives, and we'll be supporting the bill.
Thank you, Ms. Irwin. We'll take your close now.
Okay. Well, as this bill moves into suspense, I would just like to remind everybody about the significant federal funding that this bill will help bring into the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Irwin, for bringing this bill to our attention. Thank you. I'll take a motion on the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. It's out on an A roll call. The committee is adjourned. Thank you so much.